welcome President and Chief Marketing Officer, Salesforce, Ariel Kelman.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chicago, and welcome to Connections 2025. I couldn't be more excited to be here. This is my favorite time of the year, because as much as I love our sales and service friends, as a marketer, there's nothing better than to be able to talk about the world of marketing with Salesforce, and we have so much to cover today. I think you saw outside some signs about agentic marketing. So that's what we're going to talk about today, but I'd like to start off with a simple question. What if every marketing message could start a two-way conversation? Two-way conversations is what we want. It's a human interaction. If you think about when we have our best employees talking to our customers, they're listening, they're being empathetic, they're responding, having a very real conversation that's likely to result in a positive outcome. But when it comes to our marketing messages, often too much of it is just blasting messages out to channels. But we think there's a better way, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Let me just give you a little highlight first of how this looks in a couple different channels. So let's take email. We're all familiar with a lot of the email marketing that we do, where we send out a message, a call to action with a link. Not a two-way conversation. We're not even subtle about it if you look at the from email that we send a lot, right? I mean, how many of us have sent something that says do not reply? It definitely tells you not to reply. Well, what if emails could be a little bit different? In a world of agentic marketing, if you think about having an email, and this is from a retailer that comes to me, and basically it's giving me an offer of polo shirts. Okay, here's some polo shirts, are you interested? And it's from my Stylecaster AI agent, Patrick. And because I know it's an agent, I can, just respond. I have a question, like, I like polo shirts, but really only if I can get one in white. So I just reply, can I get one in white? And then the agent can go and respond and say, sure, no problem, we got that, and since it knows me, we can place an order, here's the total, would you like it? Great, submit the order. I don't have to click on a link, I don't have to go to a forum. And again, think about this, we're replicating the conversations with your best employees have with your customers. Now, it's not just email, but text as well. You think text should be an inherently two-way conversation, but too many of our marketing texts are simply a message and a link. But instead, we can go send people messages and say, well, you just bought this polo, we got some shorts in. Now, if I had just gotten a message that said, hey, we have shorts to match your polo, I'd say, like, shorts, I got to try them on, I would just delete it. But since I know it's an agent, I can tell them my problem here is that I don't know what my size is. I need to see them in person. They go, no worries. By the way, your size is size 33, and we put one in the store because we know you want to try it on. And when we think about ads, most ads today send people just to static web pages with a form. But instead, if you sent them from an ad directly to an agent that could have a two-way conversation right in your website, and if your website, instead of just showing one-size-fits-all information, if your website could dynamically render the content based on what's most useful for the conversation you're having with the agent. In this case, I'm talking to the agent about polo shirts and maybe some colors that I like, and it's showing those in a way that reinforces the conversation. So this is the promise of agentic marketing, that we can have two-way interactive conversations that really are effective across every marketing channel. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how agentic marketing is just changing everything about how we market to our customers, from how we launch campaigns, to how we engage across channels, to how we qualify leads for our B2B customers, and how we optimize campaigns. But first, I really want to thank everyone for coming here today, because I know everyone's super busy, and we all have things that we need to do, and we're happy that you're here today. I want to thank our customers, and I especially want to thank our community members and our community leaders. If we have any community leaders in the audience, thank you for coming. I know that you guys have both a real job and a second job that you take to help everyone in the community learn and engage with each other, so thank you for that. Now, as a company at Salesforce, for 25 years, we've been grounded in the same set of values: trust, customer success, innovation, equality, sustainability. And these are important to us, and it's allowed us to really grow as a company. Because of all the success of our customers, we've been able to grow a lot. We're going to surpass this year $41 billion in revenue. But what really makes me proud to work here at Salesforce is the fact that as we're doing well, we're also doing good. And being recognized as one of the most innovative companies, one of the most philanthropic, and one of the most ethical companies. And speaking of philanthropy, I especially want to highlight this for those of you who are new to the Salesforce family here, is our 1-1-1 model. Many of you who've been with us for a while know about this, but this is when Mark and Parker started the company 25 years ago. We put 1% of our equity, our time, and our product into a philanthropic project, and this has resulted in a massive amount of great activity. This year, we're going to surpass 10 million volunteer hours. And what's even better is almost 20,000 companies have copied us. Usually copying is not good in the software industry. In this case, we love it. So copying our 1-1-1 model when they founded their company. So we think this is absolutely fantastic. And when we think about all this change that's happening in the world and AI agents, you hear everyone talking about AI agents, AI agents. Well, how do we get to this world of agentic marketing? That is what we're going to spend some time on today. And I think the first thing I want to talk about is how AI agents work. So just sort of taking a step back from the marketing perspective, just think about AI agents in general. They're really doing three things. So first, they instantly understand all of your data. So I think, as most of us know, the key to getting enterprise AI to have accurate results that truly provide value is they have to be grounded in data. And when we're talking about marketing, it's got to be grounded in data about your customers. So once it gets grounded in that data, then it can create a plan, understanding what is the job that it's going to do, what is it trying to accomplish. Often it iterates through a couple steps, and then once it has a plan, it takes action. And this aspect of taking action is really what differentiates AI agents from chatbots. Chatbots simply passively sit there and wait for someone to ask a question and then give you an answer. But with AI agents, they can take action. They can go and do things like submit orders and process results and kick off campaigns, as we're going to see in a little bit. So this action orientation is really what's gotten people excited. And when you have all these agents taking action, you have an opportunity for something bigger, something that we think about as digital labor, really enabling us to scale up the work that we're doing massively. Now, in many cases, especially when I talk to CMOs, everyone's overburdened. Most CMOs I talk to, their teams have between 2 and 5 times as much work they're being asked to do as they have time to do. And so the promise of AI agents is to be able to give your employees agents that scale massively and allow them to augment the capabilities of the employees, while at the same time using these agents to be able to offload some of the lower valued tasks that they don't want to do, so they could focus on the fun stuff. If we could offload the drudgery to these AI agents, we can improve the quality of life for our marketing teams and get more work done. And when it comes to platforms for AI agents, Salesforce is the leader. We have thousands of customers using Agentforce to build a wide variety of agents across sales, service, marketing, HR, manufacturing. And what we're trying to do here is we give you everything you need to be successful building AI agents. So it's all starting with our metadata platform, and then our data cloud layer that pulls in all of the data from your company that these agents need. And then with our Customer 360 layer, we allow you to use the applications that you know and love today and embed AI right in the flow of work. And then Agentforce is the platform that you use to build and test and deploy agents. And when you pull all this together, what our customers have found is that it's massively faster and more accurate to build agents on Salesforce. We had an analyst firm talk to 20 of our customers, and what they found on average is they were able to build agents 16 times faster than building agents on their own with custom development, and these agents were 75% more accurate. So not a small change. Now, what does this mean for marketers? If you apply AI agents to marketing, we can do some amazing things in 2 areas: improving the productivity of our marketers and improving the effectiveness of our campaigns. So you're going to see how we can launch campaigns in days, not weeks, how we can qualify leads around the clock, Imagine if you had a lead qualification agent that was working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and never said, I don't like these leads, I don't want to follow up on those. It's always working. Never had that before. And then if we could adapt every web experience, if web experiences could be dynamic based on what we know about the customer and what they're talking to the agent about, it'd be pretty exciting. So how do we get to agentic marketing? Well, people often ask, I have some challenges, I have some things that I'm worried about when they think about applying AI in marketing. Well, first of all, people are worried about expensive IT projects. Do I have to build a bunch of things from scratch? How do I integrate it into my applications? I have fragmented data in different places, and then governance. Because in the enterprise, we need to make sure that AI is governed so that these agents are doing exactly the things that we want them to do and none of the things that we don't want them to do. Excuse me. And that is why we have put together a complete platform for being successful in marketing with AI agents. And we think about this as a new agentic marketing stack. So allowing our marketers to work with agents and drive success together. So how does this work? We pull everything together, starting with our metadata platform, and then Data Cloud on top of that, it pulls in data from all of your different sources across your enterprise with zero copy, so you don't have to have your data in more than one place at the same time. You don't have to re-implement your data. And then we have Marketing Cloud Next. This is something you're going to hear a lot about today. And you'll see there's a little new button there. That means there's something new. So, yeah, I know, it's fancy marketing. And so we're going to talk to you about all the new capabilities here, and I think you're going to be really impressed. And then what Marketing Cloud Next is doing is it is communicating out to all of your channels. And then Agentforce on top, we have pre-built agents for a lot of common marketing capabilities that we're going to show you, but also it's a platform to build your own agents. And then here's something that's really important when we think about marketing technology stacks. It's open. Every time I talk to CMOs, and I'd say when I talk to myself, it's very important that you have a marketing technology stack that will work with a wide variety of systems. What's commonplace is you have a combination of packaged software, custom application, and integration to pull it all together. So making our marketing technology stack with Salesforce open was an incredibly important aspect. And at every layer, at the data cloud layer, we have connectors to over 400 data sources. With Marketing Cloud Next, we integrate to all the popular marketing channels. And with Agentforce, you can use any LLM, even the ones that you have built yourself. But I want to drill in on one layer real quickly here, which is Data Cloud. Because as marketers, I think we spend a lot of time with data. We need our data to be good in order to really do anything, to figure out what our segments are, to figure out who to market to look at the performance of our campaigns. And what Data Cloud is doing is providing that data engine to power modern marketing and to power this agentic future of how you're going to integrate, how you're going to activate across all your channels. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this. So with Data Cloud, it allows you to unify all of your data with zero copy. So you can have a single customer record that captures all of the activity that your customers have, all the information about your customers. And what this allows you to do is to provide deeper personalization with that knowledge about the customer and segmentation for your campaigns. And then you can activate across all the apps and channels. And then, most importantly, the data that you need to power your AI lives in Data Cloud. So Data Cloud stores both the structured and the unstructured data that's important to make sure that your agents both take the right actions and then also construct conversations that are meaningful. So Data Cloud has been incredibly well adopted. It's literally the fastest growing product in the history of Salesforce. And we're also proud that it's been recognized by Gartner as the leading customer data platform, being the winner of the 2025 Magic Quadrant for customer data platforms with the most functionality and the most customer success. So how does Data Cloud work? Thank you, Leah. Yes. So how Data Cloud works, the first thing that you do is you connect all of your data sources. Now, you can use Data Cloud to pull all the data in, but what a lot of our customers do is they use our zero-copy connectors. And so a lot of people will say, well, I've done some work and I built a customer data warehouse where I pulled together maybe my Salesforce data, my web analytics data, some inventory data from SAP. I have it in a Snowflake data warehouse or in Redshift or in BigQuery. Well, if you've already done that work, great. You've won the lottery because you've done most of the hard work. And what we can do is with zero copy, your data can stay in, let's say, your Snowflake repository. You don't have to copy it again. Once we map the data, if you see this harmonized and unified stage, when we map all the data models together, as far as everything in Salesforce is concerned, all that data lives natively in Salesforce, even though it's in your Snowflake or your Redshift data warehouse and we're reaching out in real time. So no need to duplicate or move the data. So once you harmonize and unify this data, you'll have a single customer profile. And so at Salesforce, we use our own products, and my team starts with 240 million profiles of customers from all the different data sources that we harmonize down to 140 million unique profiles. And then we go and define a set of governance rules, who can use what data, what it's supposed to be used for, and then we create the segmentations. And this is kind of where the meat of the marketing starts to happen, where we can say, what are these segments that we want to market to? And something that we've done on my team is I wanted to take people away from this world of having marketers around the world doing their own monkey sequel to define who they want to market to on their own. Sometimes they're good at it, sometimes they're not. But instead, what I think is becoming popular is to say, well, let's use AI-powered segments that use machine learning models to define segments, in our case, for all the combinations of product interest, geography, and segment, and then load it up. We have 1,400 different AI-driven segments that are constantly refactoring with new lists of all the best people to market to. So our marketers, when they want to do a campaign, most of what they're doing is they're picking the segments. And so Data Cloud has the ability to create these AI-powered segments, but also we can import models that you've created, because a lot of you create your own machine learning models for segments as well. And then lastly, when it comes to activation, if you want to get that data into your Salesforce user interfaces, there's nothing you need to do. It's as native as if you created a custom object in Salesforce, no matter if it's living in Data Cloud or if it's mapped to another system using zero copy. And then, of course, we have connectors for all the popular advertising platforms and for many third-party business applications. Well, enough of me talking about Data Cloud. I luckily happen to have a customer sitting in the front row here. I want to thank, this is Andrew Chang from the University of Chicago Medicine, who's the CMO. Thank you for joining us today. I like your Jordans.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, I appreciate it. Well, maybe can you start for telling everyone a little bit about what's it like to be a CMO at a hospital and research institution? I'm curious, what are some of the things that organization asks of the marketing team?
Yeah, what it's like to be at a CMO in healthcare, especially the University of Chicago Medicine, based here in Chicago. So welcome, everyone. Thank you. It's one of the most freeing experiences in the sense that we're the largest industry in the world. In this country, we're 20% of our GDP. And being able to have a small part in the way that we can try to transform the way that healthcare works, especially from the marketing engagement standpoint, you don't get to say that every day. And that's what we're trying to do here at UChicago Medicine is how do we transform healthcare and really elevate the human experience.
Great. And so what led you to look at Data Cloud? What were you trying to accomplish?
Yeah, so speaking of human experience, there's a lot of people in this room, but I'm going to tell a little bit of a TMI story. I'm thinking about whether or not, it's too late. All right, I'm in.
No, we're just among friends here.
Yeah, there's no one else here. I just turned 45 last year, and the doctor tells me, well, you're 45, so you know what it's time for? I'm like, I don't. I do, and for those of you in the
Vision
room,
test? Wasn't a vision test.
Not the vision test.
No.
It's a colonoscopy.
Oh.
So, absolutely important procedure, as you know personally, and it is something that that was an inside joke that went horribly wrong. But here's the deal. I've been trying to schedule one since last year, and here's the number to call the number, leave a voicemail. They call me back, they leave a voicemail. I call them back, leave a voicemail, and I say, hey, here's my email address. Can you just email me what I need to do to get this scheduled? They write back, sorry, we can't do this via email or text. We have to talk live. 6 months later, I'm still waiting to get that appointment. And if something like Agentforce had existed, I would have been already done by now at this point. And even I just texted my daughter this morning. I asked her, she's 14, have you ever received a voicemail yet? And
Nope.
Thumbs down emoji is.
Yep. So how does Data Cloud, sort of play at the heart of what you're trying to do to revolutionize the customer experience?
Yeah. So with Data Cloud and the CDP that Salesforce has stood up, this has been our vision since day one of reinventing how marketing works in healthcare. How do we create a experience that is end-to-end from search, booking, check-in for your appointment, wait room, et cetera, to paying your bills and medical pharmacy refills? How do you create that experience and put all that data in one place so that the patient experience is seamless and frictionless? No matter where you are in that journey, we know where you are. It doesn't matter who you talk to, and we can proactively serve you messages or respond to messages. And the way that Data Cloud has been built was that in mind first, an enterprise-wide tech stack that is not just about advertising and marketing. It's about really having the entire organization come together in one place and activate from that one place.
Great. And why did you pick our product as a CDP? There's several out there.
Yeah, so we looked at a lot of different CDPs, but again, like I just said, Data Cloud was built with that in mind first, while a lot of CDPs was built with the advertising capabilities in mind first. I don't know if you guys remember the days when they said cookies are going away. And at the time we were on a DMP, formerly known as Crux. And so we're like, well, we better start looking at this cookieless future. And so we looked at different tech stacks out there and CDPs, and it was just, it was fulfilling that need of connecting to third-party DSPs and ad platforms, but there was nothing really out there that connected to the entire organization that allowed us to create this end-to-end experience at UChicago Medicine. And Data Cloud was the only one. Yes, you guys were a little behind in that sense, but because of that, you were able to leapfrog and build with this agentic feature in mind. And that is, for us, it was a pretty easy decision.
Excellent. And I got to ask you about AI agents.
Yeah.
What are you guys looking to do with Agentforce?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot that we can do. Like the example I just gave about trying to schedule an appointment, I mean, I think everyone in this room sadly could probably relate to trying to book an appointment with your doctor, or trying to cancel an appointment or change an appointment with your physician or your hospital and doctor's office. And to this day, you probably have received a voicemail about confirming your appointment. Please call us back.
So you guys are going to build an agent to fix this with Agentforce, right?
You shouldn't be able to have to call us back to confirm an appointment. You should just text us, or we should just text you. And if you need to change your appointment, let's just handle that via SMS. Or if you want to call us, great. We're happy to take that as well. But let's give patients the option to interact with their own health the way that they are comfortable with, and that's what we're using Agentforce for.
Exactly, having a conversation.
Exactly.
Well, I look forward to seeing your agent. I may have to move to Chicago to get a doctor's appointment.
I'm excited.
So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Good luck in your work. So next, we want to talk about what's next with the Marketing Cloud. And this is really exciting. I think what you're going to see throughout the rest of the presentation is a lot of the new capabilities of Marketing Cloud Next. And this is very exciting for me as a marketer. We've been using a lot of these products internally. I think that's one of the advantages of the whole dog fooding concept. We get to see these first. I couldn't be more excited. And to give you a grounder on what our strategy is with Marketing Cloud Next, I want to invite up on stage Steve Hammond, who runs our Marketing Cloud products. Thank you, Steve.
Dario. We are so excited about what we're delivering with Marketing Cloud Next. But before we dive in, I want to give you a glimpse of some of the incredible innovation. And we're not just talking about a few features, we're talking about a whole new era of marketing technology. Let's go ahead and roll the film. All right, I hope you could feel the energy for all the wonderful things that we're putting into Marketing Cloud Next. And what we've done is we've taken the best technologies from marketing and we've combined them with the best technologies and the most recent technologies from AI to give you new abilities in marketing that have never been available before. In fact, as we look at how you've engaged with our products over the years, you've given us your trust. And with that trust, together, we've sent more than 2 trillion messages per year out of our systems. And behind that, over 200 trillion decisions are made to decide what to send and when to send it. And the incredible opportunity with AI and this next generation of marketing is that we can take those 2 trillion messages, which Ariel highlighted earlier, are oftentimes do not reply. How can someone respond back? How can you carry on a conversation? And to turn these 2 trillion conversations or messages into 2 trillion conversations, highly personalized, highly engaging messages and engagement with your customers. That is an incredible opportunity. And this is exactly what we're delivering. So with Marketing Cloud, what we've done is we've taken 9 acquisitions that we've made over the years, these best-in-class acquisitions that really stand out, that deliver for you mission-critical success in marketing. And we combine them. We've pulled them together into a microservices that allow us to build a completely modernized Marketing Cloud, which means that we put it together into one unified native application on top of the Salesforce Platform. And what that gives us is the ability to be able to connect the customer experience and also your teams. Your marketing organization now has the reach beyond the traditional marketing channels. Your marketing organization now has the ability to be able to connect seamlessly into commerce, into service, into sales, across the full customer journey. This is absolutely exciting. And it started with what Ariel pointed out earlier, the ability to pull together that full customer profile on top of Data Cloud. We've built Marketing Cloud Next on top of Data Cloud. But on top of that, we've also rebuilt the personalization engine. The personalization engine that you know and love that's helped to power personalized web experiences, personalized email, and many other forms of engagement. And we've rebuilt that on top of Data Cloud. We've made it now possible for this personalization engine, the same one that you use for marketing, to work in your commerce situation. The same engine can give recommendations. That same engine can show up for your service teams. When they pick up a call and they open up the call dialog, they can see the full history of all the interactions of that individual across marketing channels. They can also have recommendations of how to have that conversation in a more meaningful way. The same thing with your sales teams. You're carrying your marketing engagement, your profiles, your offers, everything across a full customer journey with this next generation of Marketing Cloud. And we've also simplified. And that simplification is beautiful because I know, I've been one of you, I've been working with thousands of you and your companies around the world. One of the hardest things with marketing is all the different technologies you have to work with, the integrations, the way you have to move data around. We've minimized all of that. We've lowered the total cost of ownership when you're doing marketing by reducing integrations. We've made it easier for you to be able to use these products together, simplified the interface, and we've also added agentic capabilities so you can create campaigns, you can create audience segments, you can create content, all with the latest natural languages through agentic interactions. And how we've built it is also important. We've built these technologies with your customer in mind, making sure that your whole organization has a view of the customer, no matter where they are in the customer journey. Every part of your business, marketing, service, sales, commerce, all of your organization has the same view of the customer. And on top of that, because it's the same data, the same view of the customer, you also have the same metrics. You don't have to go back and forth across the business and try to justify, are we looking at the same data? It's all the same data now. And because it's the same system, and we've modernized the way that we built it, with microservices and a very modern approach to the architecture, it means that when your customer is engaging with your brand, no matter where they are, they can have an engagement that is meaningful to them. We can trigger a response. Again, we all know this from the marketing side. We can trigger a message. We can trigger an experience in a website. But how do you do the same thing in a service engagement, in a sales engagement? That is now entirely possible using the same profile and using the same underlying orchestration engine. This is exciting. And on top of that, we've also combined the value of using B2B and B2C in the same application. You no longer have to make a choice. Do I use account engagement or engagement? We've now brought them together in the same application interface with personalization, with marketing intelligence, everything working together in unison. This is really exciting. Now, I think probably one of the most logical questions you have now is, great, Steve, you've now introduced a new technology. How am I going to use this? How am I going to access this? How am I going to be able to help my teams with this? When we built this new technology, we had that exact thing in mind. We know that you've spent millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars on your implementations, on your audience segments, on your journeys, on your orchestration. And we've kept that in mind because what we've created is not a migration. Instead, we created what we call convergence. We're bringing these technologies together for you, which means initially, when you want to get your teams up to speed and they're used to using one application, they can start using the new application environment in parallel. We keep the campaigns in sync. We synchronize your audience segments. We synchronize your contacts. Everything runs in sync. And then when your teams get comfortable, at the time of your choice, you can make the switch over to the new UI. You can get comfortable with it and then make the move over. And you can have access to all this incredible new functionality. We've designed this new application with you and for you. And this is the next generation of Marketing Cloud. We're very excited about this. The last thing I'll highlight is that these new technologies, all working together across the Salesforce platform, are what will help you, together with us, to continue to deliver those amazing messages, those amazing communications and engagements you have with your customers, more than 2 trillion a year, and move away from the do not reply, and move to the next generation of marketing, which is to have conversational marketing, moving from 2 trillion messages to 2 trillion conversations. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. That was fantastic. Okay, who's ready to start seeing some of this new product? Okay. So there's 4 areas that we're going to talk about today where there's some really exciting innovation and how AI agents are really fundamentally changing how we do marketing. The first one we're going to talk about is how AI agents, how Agentforce can change the way we build and launch campaigns to be much faster and much more effective once these campaigns launch. So I'm excited to bring up on stage Praz from our Marketing Cloud product team to tell us more. Thank you, Praz.
So I've worked in Marketing Cloud product management for over 6 years. I have yet to run into a marketer who's actually happy about how quickly they can launch their marketing campaigns. You spend so much time aligning your teams and doing all this busy work just to get an idea off the ground. But it doesn't have to be that way. Agentforce can help you launch your campaigns in days, not weeks. Campaign creation in Marketing Cloud Next allows you to collaborate with Agentforce and quickly generate those campaigns, those briefs, and so much more. Campaign creation can help you launch campaigns that span touchpoints and your channels. Agentforce can act autonomously on your behalf, acting on your business data, your metadata, and your workflows. But you shouldn't just take my word for it. I'd love to tell you about one of our amazing customers. Ford is one of the most iconic automotive manufacturers in the world. And Ford Pro, one of the business units, they deal with fleet management and telematics. They had a key challenge. With connected vehicles came this higher expectation of real-time, relevant, proactive engagement. Ford Pro knew they had to evolve. Agentforce is helping Ford Pro transform all the data they're getting from their connected vehicles into real-time, personalized engagement that's driving customer loyalty and increasing revenue. Now, I'm going to show you what this looks like in the future of marketing. Before we do that, we're going to have a little detour. I see some smiles around here. This is a very familiar place for a lot of us, right? This is Marketing Cloud engagement. We have spent years in here building campaigns, building our journeys. It is really, really, really powerful. But The process of getting your teams in here and aligned and creating those journeys, creating those campaigns, it's a little manual. Let me show you what the future is going to look like. We're going to start off in Slack. This is where my team, they're already in here, they're already collaborating. And we are in a channel that's for a new product launch. And someone asked for some help kicking off the campaign. Instead of looking at my to-do list with some existential dread of adding yet another thing, I'm going to ask the campaign coordinator agent to help me out right here. And what it's doing, and this is really important here, is that it's leveraging all the historical data that we have inside Slack. It's looking at past Slack channels. It's looking at linked materials, right? This is a really big deal because what that means is that we're not starting from scratch. You're building upon your past successes, the lessons learned, all those high-value assets you've already built out. They're being pulled right into the Slack canvas. And just like that, we've got ourselves a campaign brief. This is the future of campaign building. It's smarter, it's faster, and it's entirely in your control, right? We've got creative, we've got our audience direction in here, and my team can start collaborating with me live inside the actual canvas itself. They're going to start dropping in things like performance data, visual assets. If there's workbooks, they can link all that information right in here. And if we're missing something, Agentforce can help us out with that too. So I didn't see campaign goals in here as I was scanning through my brief. So I'm going to call on the campaign coordinator agent, and I'm going to have it spin up some campaign goals for us. And what's important about what I'm asking it to do here is that it's using the context of everything it sees inside the Slack canvas to generate these campaign goals for us. These look pretty good to me, so we're going to keep them. The next thing I'm going to ask it to do is to take all the information we have here for the campaign brief, and we're going to use it to set up a campaign for us in Marketing Cloud Next. I'm going to have it create a segment-triggered flow that's going to kick off in 30 days. Let's hop over into Marketing Cloud Next. This is the future of Marketing Cloud. And you notice the agent has brought over everything we asked it to do right into Marketing Cloud Next. I've got the brief. I've got details related to my audience. I've got base orchestration ready to kick off. And of course, I still have the context of the conversation we're having in Slack in that channel came over with me into the Marketing Cloud Next campaign record. It looks like magic, but I'd love to show you what's happening behind the scenes. Right? This is how we stop you from having to swivel chair between different systems. We're looking at Agent Builder, and specifically, we're going to look at the marketing campaigns topic. I want to show you what's happening here behind the scenes. So we have two laptops. What's happening behind the scenes here? So clicking into this, we're going to look at the topic's actions, because what we've asked it to do here is to generate a campaign from a brief, right? You can get inside here, and you can see the natural language we're providing to this agent and giving the instructions on like, hey, I would like you to draft a subject line based off what you're seeing inside the campaign. Now let's hop back into here. That's a big deal, because this is one platform, right? You're not swivel chairing between different systems. Now, the campaign orchestration, or the summary of what's happening with orchestration is really important, right? Because this is how the rubber hits the road in terms of how your messaging gets out to your customers. Let me show you what's powering this. This is Flow. It's the orchestration engine behind the next generation of Salesforce Marketing Cloud. And at the top, a familiar thing. It's your audience. It's a segment that we asked it to spin up for us. And below, we've got an A/B test. There are things that we're doing to Flow to make it feel more welcoming for marketers. We've got things like a baked-in native A/B test that you can run. we've got our decision splits. You can decision on any of the data that lives inside the Salesforce platform. And finally, your channels, the engagement channels that we have. Email, SMS, WhatsApp, they're all baked right into here. This looks pretty good to me, so we're going to slide back over into our campaign ready to activate here. I'm going to do a quick refresh because I wanted to pull all the latest information back from my flow. This looks good to me, so we're about to activate this. But before I do, let's recap where we just started off. We were in Slack, where the team's already collaborating. Then we co-created with Agentforce. That's our AI partner through the campaign planning, the segment creation, content creation. And finally, we synced all that information into Marketing Cloud Next, and it's ready to activate. That's the power of Salesforce, Slack, and Agentforce. It's an intelligent, unified platform that's going to help marketers at Ford Pro launch their campaigns that are faster, smarter, and more connected than ever before. Let's go ahead here and hit activate. We just went from idea to execution. Now, I don't know about you, I'm pretty confident my campaigns are great, and it's going to drive a lot of traffic to the Ford Pro website. To talk to you about how we're going to engage the customers that are going to come to the Ford Pro website, I'd love to introduce our next speaker, Janani.
Thank you, Prasanna, and hello, everybody. My name is Janani Narayanan, and I head product in the data solutions teams, which means it is my team's responsibility to build out data platforms and digital platforms that power our marketing automation engine, as well as a lot of our customer activations, such as email platform, paid media, and the one that powers all of our AI agents, one of which we're going to talk about today. But before I get started, I want to reflect on this statement you see up there. You cannot build relationships with do not reply. Now, as marketers, we've gotten used to certain defaults, haven't we? And one of them is this idea that customer outreach always has to be one-sided. So from a customer's perspective, think about getting an email that says do not reply. That is like someone walking up to you, making a statement, turning around and leaving before you even get a chance to respond. And that's not a conversation. That is a broadcast from the 1970s. So it's no wonder that our industry average email click-through rate is only 1.4%. There's got to be a better way. Now, with Agentforce, you can engage every customer with a two-way conversation. You heard about our Marketing Cloud Net's GA capabilities of personalization decisioning, as well as web curation. Using that, you can turn every channel into a live conversation, delivering the right message at the right moment like never before. In fact, one of our customers, Edux, I hope I got the pronunciation right, they were able to increase their payments with two-way engagement up to a 40%. So let's take a look at how all of this works. Now, it all begins when you define a role for the agent. It can be any role, but in this case, the agent is set up to handle all website inquiries from customers 24/7. And then you need to define the actions. In this case, the agent can recommend products, answer product questions, complete orders, view order history, the entire spectrum. And then you have to establish some guardrails, which are very critical. Guardrails define when an agent should escalate to a human in case the conversation goes off track or if customer sentiment deteriorates. So the outcome is that the agent has a great conversation with the customer. They get offered up a promotion. They accept it. They make the purchase. Everybody is happy in one seamless conversation. And that is the power of modern marketing. Now, there is one small problem. It is all sitting on a slide, but we love demos, so why don't we bring it all to life in a brilliant demo? And I want to invite our demo drivers of the day, Dylan and Irene. Let's give it up for them. All right, so let's get into it. OK, so what you're looking at is Ford Pro's automotive website. And as you can see, it is very modern, sleek, visually stunning. But for a customer like me, who is a business user, and I am in here shopping for a fleet of vehicles for my business. And I have a straight set of requirements. A, it has to meet my budget. B, it has to be fuel efficient, and there has to be limited downtime. So for these straightforward set of requirements, I'm spoiled for choices on the website. There are way too many trims and packages and models to sift through, and it can get overwhelming. Now, I'm in here for some sound guidance and a fast recommendation, because I have to move fast. So what does a customer do in this situation? They leave your website and turn to a ChatGPT or a Gemini or your favorite LLM flavor of the day for advice. So what has ended up happening here is you have not lost just any visitor, you have lost a prospect in the moment of high purchase intent. And that is after you have spent millions or thousands of dollars, depending on the scale of your business, in paid search and SEO and media to bring them onto your website in the first place. As a marketer, that's gotta hurt. Now, in this case, Ford Pro, they lost the customer's context, questions, their intentions, and perhaps even the customer themselves, because what is stopping an LLM from recommending a competitor? We have to fix that. Introducing web agents powered by Agentforce. Now, this is not your ordinary chatbot. It is also not a regular conversational agent. It is a lot more than that. It will transform your entire digital.com experience, like we'll see shortly. All right, so I'm on the website. I'm going to strike up a conversation with the agent, and I'm going to ask, looking for a new line of fleet vehicles that handles well in the city and can take on Chicago winters. So let's hit enter. Now, personally, what I want is a bold red Mustang, convertible, top down, you get the picture. But Dylan here reminds me that I'm in here shopping for my business, not for my impending midlife crisis. Something to look forward to other than a colonoscopy. All right. So we have the response here, and I'll get to the response in a bit. But as you can see, the website has instantly adapted to a new tone, a new layout, as well as content. And it has dynamically rendered, and it is recommending something like a Ford F-150 Lightning. No Mustang, but I'll take it. Now, how this does is using a feature called web curation. There's a lot to unpack here, so I'm going to pause the demo briefly to explain what is going on behind the scenes. Now, Agentforce can tap into all your product data, whether it is sitting in a CMS system or in a Snowflake instance. Regardless, we are able to bring that into the data cloud, zero copy, meaning you do not have to duplicate the data. So Agentforce, in this case, let's say it has access to the vehicle specs, inventory details, product descriptions, marketing creatives, branding blurbs, so all kinds of structured and unstructured content alike, Agentforce has access to. Now, when you hit the agent with a question such as, show me a vehicle that can handle Chicago winters, it simply doesn't just look for matching keywords. What it does, it tries to understand the intent behind the question. And through a technique called RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation, it performs a semantic search. Now, all of these terminologies, RAG, semantic search, they simply imply that Agentforce is trying to get the most relevant content as a response that is also rooted and grounded in your enterprise data, not off of the public internet, your trusted enterprise data. That emphasis is super critical to understand. And there's more. Agentforce also has access to all the real-time signals on website engagement. For instance, as a user, have I been browsing through trucks? Have I been hovering around the F-150 Lightning product page? Have I been looking at EV specs? So it combines all of these signals and puts together a response and packs it off into an SDK using the web curation feature to then dynamically render the website to give you a new tone and layout that is relevant to the response that you see there. Now, I want to quickly highlight the response. So Dylan, if you can highlight dual motor, 4x4. Even though none of these exact words were part of the original question, you see them there because of the winter drivability intent. Now, why am I spending so much time explaining this? We spend a lot of time with our customers, and the number one question we get asked is, isn't this yet another smarter chatbot? Fair question, fair comparison. However, a chatbot is rules-based, and it is based off of decision trees. And the minute the user goes off script, the whole experience comes down crumbling. What you see here is not a chatbot, but more like having your top product expert available 24/7 on your website, meeting your customers where they are with what they need. Total game changer. All right, I expected a little bit of applause here, but that's fine. All right, so let's get back to the demo. Now, I'm going to ask a few more questions before we wrap up. I'm going to tell that I'm debating between two models. So it shows up a comparison between the two models with the pricing, specs, towing capacity, which is important for my business. Now I'm convinced. I want to book that test drive. So the agent brings up all the nearest Ford Pro dealership locations. So within a matter of a few minutes, I went from being just a curious visitor all the way to a booked test driver. One seamless conversation, no bouncing around pages, no form fills, no handing off to an agent was even necessary. It was all in one conversation. And like I alluded to before, all the real-time website signals, every click, every question, every response gets into the data cloud and then finds its way into the automotive cloud, where you can stitch together a unified profile of your customer, 360-degree view, as you see there, identity information, my engagement feed, the conversation, my upcoming appointments, everything in one single place. And that brings us to a conclusion of this demo. But I want to take a quick moment recapping what we just saw and how powerful this is at the hands of a marketer. We started with a website visit. It's your classic top of the funnel, high volume, typically low conversion, mostly anonymous type of activity. We took that and converted that into a high-value interaction, a high-value engagement. And at Salesforce, we believe in being customer zero to all our products. Our web agent is live today on the salesforce.com website, as well as the help.com website. Please go check it out. In fact, our help agent has had around 850,000 conversations with customers. Now, you may ask, but Janani, I do not operate at Salesforce scale, not at Ford Pro scale. I'm an SMB marketer. How do I get access to all this goodness? I want to assure you that we were able to launch the very initial version of our web agent with a small team in a matter of a few months. So if there is one takeaway from this demo, it has to be that you can get started as soon as today to envision the future of what digital engagement for your customers, for your enterprise, looks like. And with that, we now have a booked test drive. How do we convert this hot lead into a qualified customer? Let us invite our SVP of Product, Marianne Patel, who's somewhere here. Marianne, over to you.
Thank you, Janani. Thank you, Janani. Marketers, every single one of you has had the wonderful experience of having a lead generation program that you poured your blood, sweat, and tears into and didn't get the ROI that you wanted. You focused on building the right content for the right ICP, getting all the search clicks, and yet sales dropped the pass. At the end of the day, marketing champions, have you ever thought, why am I spending so much time on lead generation if sales is not even going to look at what I'm doing? Yes? Yes. All right. Well, Agentforce has got you covered, because now you can give every single one of your prospects the attention that they deserve autonomously. Because with lead generation, Agentforce is qualifying these leads for you around the clock. Agentforce is agentic AI, so it's letting you have real two-way conversations. Now, these are not just qualified leads, they are meetings booked on calendars with reps. And that way, we are connecting sales and marketing together. the CEO of Assemble, he told us that what he loves about lead generation is that nurtures have gone up, engagement has gone up, and even better, the sales team is tremendously happy because closed-won opportunities are up and cost savings are real. This is music to my ears because in my day job, I run product for Sales Cloud. Why am I at Connections? Because I build a product for you so that sales and marketing can finally be partners again. To show you this, I want to bring back Dylan and Irene to the stage, and we're going to jump into a live demo of how humans and agents can work together. Alrighty, Ford Pro is the #1 commercial vehicle brand in the country, and they think fleet sales are incredibly important to them. That's why I'm showing you a fleet campaign right here. Now, what's great is that interest is high, but what kills my inner marketing soul is these 5,000 no responses here. How are we going to fix that? It's with Agentforce. This is how we get real impact to every single one of those. We're going to create an agent, a lead qualification agent, right here from the campaign. When I click on this, I want you to look at the screen. What do you not see? There's no code. There's no scripts, there's no prompts. This is guided configuration just for you as marketers. We're going to give the agent some nice qualifications, name, title, all of that good stuff, and now we get to the meat. We have to add a description. Just like all of us humans, agents need to know what is their purpose in life, and the description gives them their purpose, how they interact with prospects, and the actions they should be taking. And if you look at the very top there, we've assigned this agent to a user because all of you understand that gives you reporting, permissions, trust, visibility, all out of the box. The next step is we are going to teach this agent how to talk to our prospects. Now I want you to think about, if you had new messaging today, how would you go about doing this? You would go manually update countless email templates, call scripts, bot scripts, campaigns, seller enablement. With Agentforce, all you have to do is provide instructions. We start with the core value proposition. And for Ford Pro, that's really about fleet reliability as well as total cost of ownership. And like any great seller, we want to teach the agent those really great proof points. For you, think about what are the most compelling KPIs that you normally share. Things like uptime, reliability, the amazing service package that they have. All of that is right here. Now we get to the real magic. Actually, we don't get to the real magic yet. We first nudge. We want to make sure that this agent follows up. Remember, perseverance is one of those skills that we want every marketer and seller to have, so we want to nudge when people don't respond, and we also want to disclose that this is the Ford fleet team sending this. Now we get to the magic. So if you look on the right-hand side, I am pointing this agent to a real lead named Tom here. And we're going to take all those instructions. We're going to take all of your harmonized sales and marketing information that you have in Salesforce and our reasoning engine behind the scenes, and we are going to generate a preview right now. You're going to see that this preview is personalized to Tom. It factors in his interest in F-150s. It talks about our commercial programs and uses some of those amazing proof points that I was just showing you. But this is not spray and pray automation. The best thing is that Agentforce is able to have two-way conversations. So if you want to answer hard questions, what do you need? You need a lot of product knowledge. And that's why we give grounding here. I've connected a data library, and that includes all the things I would give a normal seller. Things like price sheets, brochures, Q&A. But you know what? This is going to be the best seller ever because they are not going to forget a single thing. In the background, we're uploading all of this information into Data Cloud. We're building you search retrievers, vector search, so they know exactly what to say in the moment. So when Tom asks a question about what is the lead time for my order, Agentforce takes all of that into consideration and looks at his location. He's in Incline Village. He needs a bunch of F-150s. Agentforce knows the action it needs to take. It calculates exactly what the lead time is, and all of that information is right there, including the source. OK, this is amazing. We are almost done. We're just going to teach the agent who it's going to talk to. Remember, you can always manually assign an agent to anyone, but we want to have it automatically also connect with our prospects. Here it's decision makers that have the right budget and who are interested in fleet sales. And now we are almost done. But I want to take a second and just thank everyone in this room, especially like my sales trailblazers over here. Hello. It is feedback from every single one of you about how hard it's been to create agents, how you don't want to have to write code. My team created this experience because we were inspired by you. You told us you wanted a guided experience that was approachable and conversational and used the thing that you do best, which is building compelling messaging. So thank you. Keep the feedback coming. We are listening, I promise. Alrighty, let's get this agent activated. Here we have this campaign, and I'm going to switch over into Gmail. I'm going to look at the agent talking to one of our prospects. In this case, it's Andre. Andre is also interested in F-150s. You see a personalized communication, but as I scroll down, what I love, all of Andre's questions are also getting answered. This Ford fleet, it's giving those proof points. It's even connected a case study. You'll notice that these responses are helpful, timely, and on brand. And as we keep scrolling down, Andre's feeling a little more confident, asking some more questions, and now he's finally ready to talk to a sales rep. This is when we get that meeting booked. And so it's not just a qualified prospect. It's not something the sales team is going to ignore. This is a real qualified opportunity. So now that we've got that meeting booked, let's look back at that campaign. My heart feels so much better. Your effort has not been wasted. Those 5,000 no responses are now down to just 25. And the sales team has all of those conversations right inside of Salesforce so that they can get prepped for this meeting. They can click into Andre's record, and they can look at all of those conversations in one place. The ad that he clicked on, those back and forth conversations, this is like a campaign visualizer. It tells them exactly what happened, exactly the questions that he's having, and how to continue that conversation forward. And if we click on a cold prospect here, you'll see that what it's done is it's tried 3 times, hasn't gotten any response, and now it has put this prospect on a nurture campaign. This is how we continue building that interest and building pipe. Hey, Ariel, I have an amazing idea. Can we name this Agentforce Couples Therapy so that we bring sales and marketing together one marriage at a time? No? Okay, fine. Well, either way, this is still the power of humans and agents working together. Hot prospects get meetings booked. Cold prospects are nurtured. Nothing falls through the cracks. And finally, sales and marketing can be friends again, and hopefully much, much more. Alrighty, marketers and marketing leaders. I know the one thing you care about even more than the marriage that you have with your sales team is data. And let me show you my love language with the new Agentforce Command Center. This is where you get visualization of everything that Agentforce is doing, the impact that it is having on your business. Here, you can look at every single marketing agent that you have, including that amazing lead qualification agent that we just built, and all the sessions it's doing. I'm also able to tune it. I want to be able to see visibility of what's happening. So here, I can get all the metrics that I need. Health scores, engagement scores, everything is right there. And this is pretty solid engagement, but it's trending down. I know you want to be able to dig into that data and explain exactly what's happening and tune it. So if we click in, we can see all of those sessions that it's having. We're able to see the topics that are landing and what's not, so we know where we want to improve. And what's great is that when I go into one of these sessions, I can see exactly the conversation that's happening here. You as marketers, you want to make sure that everything that you care about is being conveyed to these prospects. And you'll see here, unfortunately, after this webinar, this prospect has gone cold. What can we do about it? We can scratch our heads, we can think, or Agentforce can recommend exactly how we want to improve this. So here, I'm going to go into the Improvement Center, and I'm going to see a recommendation of making sure that I add a new topic so that after a webinar, it has much more personalized information. And I could keep showing you demos all day, but I want to recap with a couple key things. First, Agentforce is all about unlocking the power of humans and agents working together to really scale your business so that every prospect gets the attention that they deserve. 2, we have made building agents incredibly straightforward. Every single person in this room and online can go build an agent today and know that they are delivering amazing power to their organizations. And 3, Agentforce Command Center gives you all of the visibility that you need to trust Agentforce and have the amazing impact right at your fingertips. This is Agentforce, built on Salesforce, ready for you. Alrighty, we have talked a lot about lead qualification, and now to talk about optimizing campaigns, I want to welcome up the CMO of Marketing Cloud himself, Mr. Bobby Jania.
Thank you, Marianne. As the CMO of Marketing Cloud, I track every dollar we spend in paid media. But here's the unfortunate truth. If you're not constantly optimizing, you are wasting more money than you realize. Agentforce can change that. With Agentforce, you set the strategy, and Agentforce then monitors and acts 24/7. It can even move the spend from items that aren't working to those that are performing, and it can help you do better segmentation with better targeting. This is thanks to tools like paid media optimization and segment intelligence. So let's go ahead and see this in live action. I, like many of you, spend most of my day in Slack. And so Agentforce comes right to where I am. In this case, the Marketing Cloud Intelligence Agent is slacking me, giving me a weekly update on my performance. And I can see here that it's performing OK across the board. Most of my channel is looking pretty good. But there's a handful of creative that's underperforming. And it's asking me if I want to re-optimize my spend. Now, I want to drill in a little deeper, but normally that would require me to swivel chair, go to a different application, look at a different dashboard. But here, I can talk right to Agentforce. I can ask my question. I want to see the performance. I want to see the details. So it's going to turn the click-through rate for my campaigns, and I can see which campaigns are working and which ones are not. And I can see here that there's a big enough difference that, yeah, I do want to take an action, but I want to drill down a little deeper into the data. And I can. This is Marketing Cloud Intelligence. This is where Ford Pro has all of their marketing performance data together. What I really want to call out is that conversation with Agentforce, that came over with me. It's right here. All of that context. And on top of that, Ford Pro has all of their marketing performance data here. They have all their data across how their campaigns are running on Meta, Google, LinkedIn, how their campaigns are performing in different segments. This is all possible because we're bringing all of the data together with pre-built pipeline connectors to all of the data sources you're using today for all of your marketing performance data. We're making it really easy to bring it all together so that marketers are all using this same shared data model. Now, we've got some optimization we need to do, so we're going to head back to Agentforce. And I'm going to look at the sources for this data. Again, I want to kind of click in a little deeper so I can go into my ad performance data. And from here, I can scroll through. I can see my key metrics. What's my revenue, my CPM, my clicks. I can even see my click per cost by creative here. And sure enough, there's 4 ads that are underperforming, and that's driving down my ROI. Now, I know one of these ads is actually a brand new campaign that we just launched. And I want to give a little bit more time before I go reallocate that. But I'm going to go ahead and ask Agentforce to go reallocate the spend of those other ads. And since Agentforce is an open platform and has APIs, we're able to go out and connect to those tools, provide action in those tools, change the spend, reduce campaign spend in one, increase it in another. And Agentforce is even coming back here with my projected revenue now. How has this change impacted my information? What I also like is I have this recommended action. So it's telling me I should review my segment intelligence dashboard. I can go ahead, I can click in, I can see how all my segments are performing. I can see that the Midwest region is performing really well. But I want more than this. I really want to see how cities are performing. And I don't have that here, and I don't really want to go ask an analyst. I don't really want to go create a new dashboard. But again, that's something I can just now ask Agentforce. I can ask that question. The context will come back to me. In this case, it's saying Chicago is overperforming the other cities across all of the industries, and it's asking me if I want to create a new segment for the Chicago market. Now, you might notice that the tech and innovation market is performing the best. And what I know that you don't yet is that Chicago is one of Ford Pro's largest markets. And the tech and innovation segment performs specifically very well with EVs. So I don't want to create a segment for just Chicago. I want to go specific. I want to go to just tech and innovation. And since Agentforce can take that action, it's going to go ahead and create a full segment for me. I can jump into Data Cloud. I can look at the segment that we just created. I can change my demographic data. I can pull in data from Snowflake. This is all right here, all available for me. So I'm going to go ahead and activate this segment. And let's fast forward. I've got a new campaign running. I got a great click-through rate. My engagement numbers are going up. This is looking pretty good. But I've got a theory. I think that video ads might perform better than static ads. So I can ask this question to Agentforce. I can go through and get that data pulled right back to me. And sure enough, it's true, video is. Now, this is a small segment that we have, and we don't normally create video for that, but like, what if we could? What if we didn't have to worry about always pulling in an agency and doing a big production? What if we could use other tools? Agentforce is an open platform, and so we went and connected our APIs to the new Google Veo that just got launched a few weeks ago and asked it to create this exact video. And in less than 30 minutes, we were able to set it up where we had a custom AI-generated video created just for this campaign as a great starting spot for Ford. So what have we seen here? We've seen how Agentforce is able to move the spend around to maximize your spend. We've seen how we can adjust the targeting and create better segments. And we've seen how Agentforce is able to connect to third-party systems to take action not just in Salesforce, but everywhere where you need to as a marketer. That is optimizing campaigns without the busy work. Back to you, Ariel.
Thank you, Bobby. That was fantastic. So I hope you guys are excited about this as I am, of really showing you how agents can dramatically change both the effectiveness of our campaigns and the productivity for our teams. We talked about how to use Agentforce to launch campaigns a lot faster, how to engage customers with dynamic websites that respond to conversations with Agentforce, how to qualify leads in a whole new way, and how to optimize our campaigns. But what you're probably asking now is, well, how do I get started? Now, what's good is that all of the things that we showed you today, you can implement quickly. And just wanted to share some recommendations. We get asked this a lot. So for launching new campaigns with Agentforce, I recommend picking one of your next campaigns, one of your next promos, and to try it out. For the website, I highly recommend everyone to start with a website FAQ agent. You just take all your FAQ content, you load it into Data Cloud. In really only a few weeks, you can have a very rich, powerful website agent that can deliver a much better customer experience on your website. For qualification, start with the stalled nurture campaign. Route those to our lead qualification agent. And for optimization, you can very quickly roll out daily performance summaries that you saw in the beginning of Bobby's demos. A great way to get started. Now, another great way to get started is to enjoy the rest of the show. We have tons of content here. We have over 270 sessions. In this room, we're going to have Bozma St. John later, and we have also a really exciting session called Agentic Marketing Breakdown. It's kind of like Iron Chef, but for marketing agents. You're going to see some of the best agents that the community has created. So with that, I want to thank you, and I appreciate everyone's time. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Hey, Agent Blazers. Thanks for...